What is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. And this one is about Ruby Rose. We have two articles on this. The first one comes from AV Club. Now, Ruby Rose explains why she left Batwoman and alleges dangerous working conditions. So yep, Ruby Rose says that the working conditions on Batwoman were dangerous. And we're going to be looking at that now. So yes, let's get into it, shall we? Following her departure from CW's Batwoman series last year, Ruby Rose has detailed the many reasons she left the show after the first season. The actor shared her work experience on Instagram in a series of posts, and Rose has alleged that she both witnessed and suffered gruesome injuries while on set and endured numerous forms of intimidation from former Warner Bros. TV executive Peter Roth. She took aim at Roth first, calling him out for allegedly having young women on the crew steam his pants around his nether regions while he was still wearing them. Speaking about her own injuries as Batwoman, she explained that she underwent emergency surgery for 2 herniated discs, with doctors telling her she could have been paralysed. The actor said she was required to return to work within 10 days after her surgery, and Roth telling her that the crew would lose their jobs and it would cost the studio millions if she didn't return. She also alleged Roth hired a private investigator to trail her after she left the show. Another injury Rose discussed in the post involved a crew member who allegedly received third-degree burns while on the job, and that his skin fell off before their eyes, and that months after witnessing this gruesome injury, the cast and crew were asked to film a spicy scene. In another incident, Rose said a PA was left paralysed due to an onset injury, and Rose alleged the crew member was blamed for the incident, and the CW opened an investigation on that person. Rose blamed the unsafe working conditions on the rush timeline, as the showrunner Caroline Dries allegedly refused to shut down the production during the height of the pandemic, despite other projects doing so. Additionally, Rose called Dries a woman who had no heart and alleged that Dries only visited the set 4 times over filming. Rose has also lambasted fellow actor Dougray Scott, who played Jacob Kane, calling him abuser and alleging he injured a stunt woman on set. Dougray hurt a female stunt double. He yelled like a little B-word at women and was a nightmare, she wrote. He left when he wanted and arrived when he wanted. He abused women, and in turn, as the lead of the show, I sent an email out asking for no yelling policy, and the show declined. Scott has left since Batwoman after playing Kate Kane's father for 2 seasons. And despite Roth's alleged threats about never replacing Rose and effectively shutting the show down, Rose has since been replaced as lead by Javicia Leslie and as Ryan Wilder Batwoman. Earlier this year, CW blah blah blah. But there's an update. Warner Brothers Television has sternly responded to various scathing allegations of this nature, and says Warner Brothers agrees with Rose that she was in fact fired from the show, but it says it was the result of an internal investigation into complaints about the workplace behaviour against the actor. That is right. They're saying the show was fine, and it was Rose that was the problem. And this directly ties into our second article, which is from CBR. Batwoman Crew backs Warner Bros. TV and calls Ruby Rose a dictator. A production assistant who has worked on season 1 of Batwoman backs WBTV's claims about Ruby Rose's unprofessional behaviour on set of the show. So yeah, the latest development in drama between former Batwoman star Ruby Rose and Warner Bros. TV group comes by the way of a production assistant named Alexander J. Baxter, who worked on season 1 of the Arrowverse series. Baxter, who is the CEO of some other company now, he wrote a statement. So here is the statement. When I first got into the industry, I was very fortunate to get on certain shows like Supergirl, Sabrina, and a few features here and there. But the highlight of my entry was to film The Batwoman Season 1. I was an actor aspiring to know more about the film ministry, and when the job came up, I was so excited. Being a DC fan and a huge fan of Warner Brothers, I jumped at the opportunity. My philosophy was that I could learn as much as I could on set and then go on to do my own films. Little did I know of the hell that awaited me on those sets. The production company was professional, dialed in, and in every way fantastic. The crew was lovely, hardworking, and dedicated to countless night shoots. Yeah, I bet I had to freaking love that. It wasn't totally why they got for changes, because they loved working all night. It sounded to be an amazing experience in the making. I'm sure it was for all the staff that had to put in those night shifts, not see their partners, and not kiss the children goodnight. But yeah, an experience in the making. Then came Ruby Rose. From day one, where her supposed injury stopped her from doing 60% of her work, she began her first day on the show, not acknowledging a single crew member besides anyone above the line. And as the days stretched on, the 18-hour Saturdays for some of us and the crew, things got worse. She showed up late most days, didn't have her lines memorized, and whenever she interacted with anyone below the line, production assistant, Alex Crew, grapes, it was as though we were beneath her boots. She stormed off set, she yelled at people, and whenever she interacted with any of us, production assistants, we were disregarded as the trash we picked up. One day at the studio, we spent the entire morning setting up her requested green room, 6 heaters because she was used to Australian hot weather, and her table of snacks. Only to have her show up, giggle, walk away and say she was good. We chalked it up to another Ruby is just giving orders for the sake of giving orders moment and moved on. Then I was holding a door open for her after having worked over 15 hours at that point in the freezing cold weather, and she came billowing through the door that I just opened and she spilt her food. She looked at it, then up at me and said, "Well," and then stormed off and left me to clean up her mess. That is what it felt like working beneath Ruby. Cleaning up her mess. She never thanked us, she only made demands that left us all exhausted emotionally and physically. She was a dictator to work for, and having been nothing but a production assistant eager to get into the industry, she made me consider quitting. If this was the industry I was going into, I sure as hell wasn't going to work for entitled tyrants. Living downtown, I met one of her close friends on a dating app, and he shared with me stories of them partying and getting high on all sorts of drugs. And funnily enough, those days where she showed up 8 hours late to set were the days he spoke about. She didn't care how long we waited for her and made sure everything was perfect and ready. She just cared about her personal party lifestyle. We worked countless long days, always going into overtime because she was either late or not off book, or some other reason relating to her not wanting to be there. From the moment we started the show, she made every new person that came on uneasy and unsupported. She was a horrible star and made so many of us feel like we were helping make a show for a dictator. Filmmakers, no matter what position they are on a film set, deserve to be treated with respect. That's how I was taught growing up and in film school. And when I read her article claiming that the production was at fault, it infuriated me, because having been there, I don't want to stand by and let her badmouth the company that she tried to mess over. No matter how bad your day, you have no right to be cruel, and season 1 was her reign of cruelty. So, yeah. On October 20th, over a year after exiting Batwoman, Rose had issued harsh statements against showrunner Caroline Dries, former Warner Bros. Television Group chairman Peter Roth, and co-star Dougray Scott, and Berlanti Productions' Greg Berlanti, and Sarah Shecker. Her accusations involved that Roth threatened to fire her if she didn't return to set 10 days after a neck injury, and that Tree's refusal to shut down productions. Sorry about that. During the pandemic. And in the time since Roth's accusations, Warner Brothers and stuff have, denied this and says that it's revisionist history and that it's just, all lies and defamation. But yeah, that is basically the story. Two sides of it. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you believe that Warner Brothers was at fault? I mean, Aquaman 2, Jason Momoa got injured. So do you believe that Warner Brothers is trying to double down on saying that sets are safe and that these things didn't happen and that it's just her being malicious? Or is it a systemic issue within the industry where, we're having actors getting hurt and crew members getting hurt and these companies are trying the best to deflect away from it and blame other people and try and make it a different thing? Now, you guys can let me know down below what you think. Like, comment, share, subscribe, whatever. Let me know what you think about this. Do you think it's Ruby who was the main problem that got herself fired? Or do you think that, the crew and everything made a lot of mistakes and that the actual production team overall was trying to cover themselves from things that had happened to staff members because of their less than safe standards? But, we don't know which way, but let me know what you guys think down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.